whatever it is, wherever you are. Alright, I got all the layers. So we got this to a basic level. But I need to start introducing technologies to a certain extent. So I sort of have an idea of how this React, I don't know, I guess the data structure is going to be looking behind the scenes. So how do we... And actually, yeah, their website is not happy with high contrast. Add React. No bundler necessary. Huh. So you can run Babel in a web page. Preset React app. So that still has me at one level removed from what's actually going on here. We should have a... Well, we have some node version. I don't know if I have index.js. This is for it as a module, which we don't really have right now. Well, you'd have to have Babel. I want to know what this is. Babel preset. Is it just React app? And we're in mobile mode. Used by Create React app. Used with Flow, used with TypeScript. What is actually in here, though? No, this is a GitHub. No, okay, so it is. This is also in mobile mode. Doc, packages, tasks, tests. This might be a task thing. Screencast? Oh, okay, so this is a whole bunch of things. So this thing itself is env plugins. Create helpers false ops development. I'm just gonna defer onto that for everything else. Index. API ops env. Create. So prod test webpack overrides. What is this doing for me? Well, I guess we can try this once. And then figure out what the heck it's doing. Skipping optional FS event. 308 packages. I mean, imagine a lot of that's Babel. Do we even have NPX? Apparently we do. We don't have a source. Well, we're going to have a source now, aren't we? Right. Dev might be a dev server thing. So we're looking at this, and dev is calling it with development, and prod is calling it with production. And then that's all buried in here as to what that means. Development or production. Requires you specify production or development. That's something else passing down a development flag. Production or development. Production. Remove prop types from production build. I think I want dev. Path must be a string. Oh, well, yes, we have to actually make it. There's nothing's there yet. Received undefined. Maybe it's one of the subcalls like, hey, there's no files here. All right. Got it pre-processed. So now, and this is going to be messy to do, well, I might need two terminals now. It's going to be messy to do. Well, we definitely don't want node modules. Let's get ignore, right? Is it node module star? No. I must have this in any number of other projects. Or do I actually have to ignore anything in any of them, though? Well, I know for one life I had to ignore a bunch of stuff. That's not actually useful because it's... Oh, no, is it hiding that files? Oh, did you not set your directory? You're in public. Because that was the only file I had to open. So you need to cd down to you. This we're done with. We need to move this down to base level. So that's a start. And then everything that's here, so app and bitrate pretty much, git move public app.js to source app.js. Public bitrate calculator to source bitrate. Well, actually, I can just specify the path for that, I think. The JavaScript files are out. They're in source. Now we do this. Okay, so this... Right, because this is also doing the Babel conversion of the ES6 syntax. So now we need to, I guess by default it would be public star.js for anything further, and I just get out of the window. Okay, I think that's doing okay. This, right, because we changed our local theme, so that affected the default background. And there seem to be no complaints here. Okay, now, we haven't actually converted anything yet. So we need source. I think I might actually be able to sort of work inside out. Because the JSX should be equivalent to this. Although actually some of these value arrays, I'm going to have to figure out how to do those. So an easy one would be a label. This is JSX. So we might be able to do that. Oh, except you're technically inline there. Okay. Invalid domain. Oh, okay, so we do have to use HTML4 here. I did lose the space I snuck in there. Maybe we'll deal with that after this. So right now we're still in this parent tag. So now input. You can probably still format these, right? Type ID equals bitrate. Name equals bitrate. Value equals. Now this is where, is it just brackets? Stat change bitrate.bind. And dot input. Oh, and we still have to close you as well. And then, is that you or is that you? That should really be that one. Okay. Oh, but this is changed bitrate. Okay. Seems to be going okay. Now we don't need the comma here, but we do here for the time being. Okay, compiler had no complaints. So we've got two things here that we're doing that. This one will be a relatively easy conversion. Bits per pixel. Oh, I haven't Can we just do white space there? No, because I mean technically there's a new line. Am I gonna have to put a span with a space in it? All right, number, bit per pixel, bit per pixel. Let's dot state dot bit per pixel dot to fixed and okay, no complaint from the compiler. Wait, is the compiler actually running? Nope. Oh, read-only is a JavaScript property. Okay. Value per prop value on input tag. Or pass a string or number. Now see, this is where I run into trouble. Because my line numbers are no longer useful. So 121 is the bitrate element. Oh no! Oh no! This is complete. It actually did get a thing down here. Oh, that was where we had that. Invalid value for prop value on input. Either remove it from the element or pass a string or number value to keep it in the DOM. And why is it complaining about input or bitrate when I thought we had that working? This.state.bitrate value equals this.state.bitrate. Or is it able to track source somehow? Well, Uh, yeah, that's not, well, that's React. Oh, nope. So it interpreted a component from here somehow. I don't know which one it's talking about. Well, I guess this one doesn't have a value, does it? And this is one of the reasons I don't like compilers. Okay, so we're definitely getting updates here. Oh, you're a function. That shouldn't be 0, though. Oh, no, we actually missed the argument. Yeah, 2 fixed 3. Oh, change bitrate. Well, that probably isn't helping. Oh, okay, so it's like... It's actually writing that back, huh? Okay, so we can see that live updating. Alright, so those were the easy ones. So how do we do looping in JSX? Or dealing with arrays in general? Expression. Closer to JavaScript than to HTML. Element. If it's empty, you can close it. Represents objects. Oh, and it's ultimately just a tree. That would be a list, I guess. Rendering multiple components. Numbers.map to a set of things. And then UL. And if the thing is an array, it just gets inserted. Okay. Let's see. FPS is going to be the simpler one here. This is actually a different thing because it's a select. All right, frame rate. I still have to figure out how to get my spaces. We're going to have div. So we want to convert this to select ID equals frame rate, name equals frame rate, value this has to be a bracket. And on change equals bind this, close that. So the select tag is the easy part. And then that will be the select tag proper. And then we want to do this embed map to option value equals, oh, because that was a, okay. Let's be wrapped in an enclosing tag. What am I missing? I don't know if I can do that in JSX. Yeah, unexpected token. So if it's JSX, we would have to do that, presumably. Okay, there we go. Okay. Adjacent elements must be wrapped in, oh. Right, at the moment we're still doing this. Does it need the timestamp to have changed by at least a minute or something? Okay. Actually, we should have it in register. Oh, you also need to be FPS. This is that is literal text. List component. Given a warning, the key should be provided. Key should be specifically a string, whereas this is apparently counting an automatic stringification. Interesting, this is only in JSX, and it wasn't an issue when we were just doing it in code. To lowercase string. Okay. So that's how we do a select. So we are going to resolution. Oh, looks like I lost a capitalization doing this one. All right, resolution dot value. Change, not you. Changed resolution options. Value equals res dot value. I think value is a string that represents the height and the width. Oh, right, because we copied this. Okay. I think that's all of the major elements. So it's wrapped in a form. And now we don't need the commas. Did it reload? I guess we'll have to trust it. And we've got an H1 with no attributes. Okay. And it's all wrapped in a div. Okay, that we saw update. And then, do we need oh, I've reused E there. Oops. Shouldn't need that. And then our app file, source. Bitrate calculator with nothing in it. Okay. That's a step. Yes, source. I guess we're done with. We're done with junk. For the current state of the project, we need this. We also need edit. Does that do it? That does it. Bang, bin, shell. Now we should be able to go bin monitor and, well, there's nothing to update right now, but yeah. We're still at path must be a string. That seems to run. So add bin, add dot get ignore, get add, and that's just modified. Pre-configured JSX, pre-configured Babel. All right, now what the heck did we do? I might actually have to do enough poking around at this. No, wait. Packages. Oh, no, this is the repository. So I've got to get down here. All right, now you. That's a whole lot of stuff. So the core of it is create. Use ES modules. Ops. Validate bool option. Oh, default value. Okay, so if it's development or production, default of use ES modules is true. Node env, Babel env, preset env. Shh. Hey Sid. Yeah. I'm trying to bootstrap back onto some framework stuff, so I'm grabbed something to get started that did stuff I don't understand, so I'm trying to understand it. And see if I can actually back out a step for a little bit here. Require Babel preset env. Preset React. Wait, where are you Babel has a preset React. A server. Okay. Is this for something associated with the game or like for the actual gameplay? So is that actually a thing? Okay. Get started is probably going to be at the wrong level. It's plugins, JSX. Okay, so they're saying Babel preset React. Multiplayer mods out. Okay. So is there something... looking for... Is there something you don't like about the other mods? Or are you just kind of interested in doing it as an exercise for yourself? Because you're curious about game servers and JavaScript and stuff. So this is just Babel preset. They don't have the command. That actually compiles it. Yeah, they've got npm install. Built-ins. Guess that's just CLI and core. Babel build source. I think this is mostly synced with everything, and quality is really good. Well, I started because I wanted to learn JS because I want to have my own server. Oh, so is it not a distributed, like an open source thing that you can run yourself? Well, I guess I can just look at it. Download. Host a server. Yeah, okay. So yeah, it's available. Okay, so we could try to simplify this. Maybe. Package. So we're still gonna need Babel CLI. Uninstall Babel preset React app. Oh, wait. And we've got a bunch of warnings. They didn't even give us a repository field, so I don't know. I guess it's supposed to be called repository? Oh. Well, fine. Oh, so it did manage to uninstall it. Let's see, that should just do what it was. Optional dependency, optional dependency. Okay. Won't be able to get rid of that. So we can wind this back we can peel back the onion one step. Oh, they're saying save dev. Arguably, that could apply to Babel as well. They originally told us at 6. Okay, so that moves to dev dependencies. So to peel back one layer, we would go preset React, and then see what that does. Oh. Because it told us to install. Nope. So there. Uninstall. Install. No target matching version. Maybe preset React is new with version 7? This is still docs. So packages. Babel. Preset React. Seven beta. Lots and lots of betas. Alpha. What? There's a v622. And Babel. $34 versions. Did they not publish that? Or does the version history just not go back far enough? So we think oh, this touched a bunch of stuff. Oh, but it changed names. So what is an npm package prefixed with ampersand? New feature of npm called scoped packages. User and organization, and the only people that can add packages to it. Scope Angular. Public search. Now show up properly in search. Okay. So they've switched over to that style. All of the 6 versions were published as Babel preset React. All right, so JSX. Oh, and this is the Babel preset React. Well, so the URL stayed the same. This didn't. And then our command becomes watch source outdoor public presets. Will this be Babel? Okay, that seems to have compiled. Okay, so that peeled the onion back 1 layer. Package lock updated. Changed to dev. Removed a bunch of stuff from package lock, which kind of drowns out everything else that may have changed. Which wasn't much. Um, all right, so now what is preset React doing? So it says it includes plugin syntax. Transform React. So that must transform it to the React create element calls. Transform React display name. Maybe that's like the HTML4s and stuff. Oh, that must be for debugging. Oh, source references. So how do we specify dev? Config function API. You know what? I went and found the source. And I left it. Now this is version 7, but it probably isn't that different. Okay, so all the plugins. Export default declare API ops. So return plugins, transform React JSX with options, transform React display name. If development, do that. Okay. So we can kind of tell what. I don't know if we need to go to the plugin level. I mean, these are things we have to do if we want to do JSX. So the question is, how do we specify development mode? Uh, it, which no one seems to know? Preset React with the development option. Development dependency. Yeah, so it's in this API thing. How do I use that? programmatically create the configure you want to compile node modules. Applies to your simple single package. The guy fear, right? Babel config, static configuration. Babel config. Presets, plugins. So that would be API to development too, true? And then we were looking at config.js. Of course, this is version 7. So it's possible the configuration changed. Oh. There's no mention of config.js here. Plugins, ignore. From process env babel env. So can we do babel env equals development? And then we look at, it was still running when we did that. And look at, yeah, you're simpler. Wait. That's still doing an import statement. Well, this looks compiled. So it was doing self? No. Reload. Yeah, I'm not seeing self or source on here. Development. How do you determine the environment detected by Babel? Babel env, was it It was Babel env, right? Well, it wasn't in this page. Oh, this is back to 7. No Babel RC. Babel env. And it defaults to development. I can actually run code in the context of this dump process env. Okay, so there's some development plugins that we're not getting through here. Well, we can go back to this. It's Resorta windows. No, not seeing any extra properties on there. Config files. Babel 7. Yeah, this is Webpack. We'll get there. That's node env. Maybe those are only version 7? Yeah, this goes back to 7. And this takes us back to the root of the documentation tree. Oh, it must be Babel preset React. Babel preset and then use presets React. Do you have to include env to use the development env? It's exactly the same as Babel preset latest 2015. Browser support. Polyfills and Claude transforms. Yeah, I guess that that development stuff is only in the version 7. Now, the React site, well, maybe the React app preset depended on 6. But Babel seems to be pretty solidly into 7 at this point. Where are we? We are clean right now. So could we... npm... Is it like an update or an upgrade? Can that just be everything? Okay, so apparently not. Well, do we have to, or it's only specified ones. Updates all packages listed. Oh. There were no non-dev dependencies. This in the global or local. Okay. npm install save dev. This is going to be Babel CI and Babel preset React. Well, it's fewer packages. Really? How? So you don't need, oh. You don't need Babel core. For Babel CLI. And that well, that probably got our count up again. So maybe that'll actually enable it. Now, is this going to be the same command? Well, the preset probably changed. Does it have a different name now? Successfully compiled 2 files. Well, that's different. Okay. And the development stuff still isn't working. Nope, nope, can't do that while it's running. No. Git status, git diff. Once again, it's running, so we can't save it. And right, diff. Yeah, because the package name changed. Having the package lock in there, but it is a project, so that's hard to make sense. All right, so that was a bunch of technical setup stuff. We should probably try to do something else with the app. Now, one of the things I kind of wanted to do is do these more as like sliders, particularly bitrate, because that can be all over the place. Now, another thing I could do is, there's several ways to use this. One is what bitrate do I need to do blah. Another is what can I do within the bitrate. So if we, well, okay, so first of all, no. Second of all, how do you insert white space in JSX? Non-breaking spaces, automatic insert span. Single line is okay. Okay. What source? Because technically we did have it inside the labels before, which isn't quite right. Oh, we aren't running our compiler. That's a thing we have to. Okay. Git add bin monitor. Git commit. Mass amend. Do we have actual spaces? Yes, we have actual spaces. Put label spacing back in. All right, so if we want to convert this into a slider, well, let's start with see how well HTML slider works. I've got too much junk open right now. React, create React. I think I'm done with Babel. I think we actually do have native controls. Hmm. Okay. Oh, no, wait. This is like... Are there not native HTML sliders? Input type equals range. The control's exact value isn't important. Step. So you probably want to step at least one. Okay. And arguably, you could probably be at least 10 for this. Source. So I think I still want to be able to type stuff. And here is where we can kind of use this. Well, value, changed bitrate. We need... I don't know if there is a minimum, really. Practical maximum. Well... For streaming, yes. For recording, no. Okay, well... Now, okay, so you can enter it. You just, as soon as you do something with this, it'll max it back down. A scale would be nice. And the alignment is terrible. So it's like its bottom is the center line. They're not? No. There is a version of alignment. Maybe it's like text align? Left, right. Nope, that's not the property I wanted. Vertical align. That's better. So we've got HTML. Input. I think you can do type equals range. And then I need magic invocation for a style sheet. I don't remember which projects I actually extracted the style sheet on. Did you get big enough? You did get big enough. Okay, that seems to have worked. All right, so that's the easy one, though. That's just a number. Oh. Hash marks. And that allows you to do labels. No browser fully supports these feature. Firefox doesn't support hash marks and labels at all. So this is where you want to get a fancy pants control of some sort to do anything more interesting. So, right calculator, that is public. Arguably, these are labels. It's going to be labels 4. It's going to be a 0. And it's going to be our max. Oh, so that means the slider can only do numerical values. I'm going to have to do some sort of array and direction both ways on that one. Both resolution and frame rate are very, very set things. Now, could I extract these as individual controls? We need all the data together at some point. And the data would be stored in each individual control. How does, because I know I looked for a select box at one point. And there was a project that did that. So what kind of interface did they present? Select options equals options. Now, how do you get it out? Uh... Oh, okay, so there's a whole thing up here. Public props. And part? Huh? Hello, WTS Blubs Cat. Oh, okay. We need better examples. They do not have very good examples. And of course, these things don't care about the values. Oh, change your keyboard layout settings. That's, yeah, that's, interesting. Yeah, guys, how do you get values out? I'm trying to figure out some React stuff, and I thought this might be a good example of how to do an interface, and they have no examples. Maybe upgrading would show some before and afters. Here's an example implementation. Value on change. Oh, well, maybe it just goes down to, maybe it's supposed to be kind of drop-in. So if I turned these things into little subcontrols, then I would end up having to forward properties down. Yeah, so maybe we checkpoint this. Minus M, add bitrate slider. So if I were to, I'm going to need a lot of the things that are in here. Edit source. This is the bitrate. And I'm inconsistent. I'll worry about that later. So you don't need resolution. You don't need resolution options. You don't need frame rate options. Okay. You don't need calculate bits per pixel. You need a bitrate control. Ooh, I might want to pull the React. I'd have to see how that works with the local files. Props. So this is a control. Its state would just be a value. Okay. So is that how that works? Is there anything I want to handle locally? Well, parsing the int would probably be something we should handle here. All the other things still has to handle the calculation. So for your purposes, I think we're just here. And then I'm going to have to call the onChange. Well, here about, is there perchance documentation on this? Components and props. Forms, lifting state up. Composition. Welcome dialog, fancy border. Props.children. There's something I might need to worry about. It's only for things that are useful as containers. Split pane. Props left, props.right. Oh, that's a left-right thing. Right, because you do have to specify the two different things. Specialization. Dialog, welcome dialog. Dialog, sign up dialog, which has a dialog in it. Component hierarchy. Right, static version. Minimal set of mutable state your app needs. Yeah, I might be able to just compute bits per pixel on demand, but I might want to do this multi-directional at some point. Where your state should live. Thinking in React. Oh, this is an example. That renders something based on the state. Find a common owner component. Okay, higher up should own the state. Oh, the value becomes a straight up prop here. we don't even need to keep this as a state. The set state becomes the onChange, which doesn't have to be a full value. So this does the parsing and stuff. Keep it as a value. All right, and then this is for the other controls. And then the render for this is here. I actually want to go to a different naming convention here, but bitrate calculator. I think there was something that the imports had to be first. Okay, so it's doing that. Is it like doing some sort of caching where it says, oh, well, nothing changed? Is it not reporting that it's updating it? Does the watch just break after a while? Compiled 3 files. Must have a syntax error here. Ah. You'd think it would complain about that, though. Okay, and it's not giving me individual compile updates. Wait. Oh, that's HTML4, not the actual label. Yeah, okay. So, bitrate control. So changed bitrate is going to be interesting here. It's going to be a little bit different. So this is going to be bitrate control with a value of that and an onChange. So it's going to be changed bitrate. Changed bitrate. So we shouldn't have to worry about this. Or this. You're going to get back a bitrate that should be valid. We shouldn't worry about nan. JSX closing tag. Oh, we did too much stuff here. We need that div. Okay, I was worried I deleted more than that. And it doesn't give us any report on success. For form. Okay. Give me a brand new thing here so I'm sure whether you're printing error repeatedly or not. Successfully compiled 3 files. Pardon? Okay, so you know what? I might actually have to have this same line. Yep. Now. I still said state. This is props. And it's literally inputting everything, so I can't. Yeah, value equals blank. Are props not available? Is change bitrate firing? This dot on change is not a function. Oh. No, it doesn't even need to be state. You don't have state. Error boundary. This dot state is null. Okay. Do we reference? Oh. Okay, so change events are firing. But we didn't get the value. So the thing we want to know is, do we still have, oops, this dot props. Is that still a thing? First pass, it's this. Second pass, value is an HTML. Okay. So, changed bitrate. Oh. So what the heck did that default to? We were passing in the event value there. Okay, so that's updating. That's updating. But the value is not getting passed down correctly. Is value like a special field name? And our props are being updated. It's not props.bitrate though, it's props.value. Because we abstracted everything. Now everything's together. So that's all the renames you got to worry about. It's still called changed bitrate. I mean, within this control, it could be called like on change or something. And I guess since it's a bitrate control, we could call its value bitrate. All right, well, that was harrowing enough. I think I might want to change naming conventions, but I'll do that separately. Bits per pixel, I probably need to do like a title, hover, or something on that. But I'm more focused on learning than usability right now. I want to play around with some a little bit better UI here. Also, I'm learning about multiple controls and subcomponents. Oh, we need to get rid of this. So that is the bitrate control. Oh, actually, here's the thing. I was thinking maybe I should rename those React.js components. Yeah, okay. Well, they've got components. Now this is one particular person, but they are doing capitalized things. Folder structure. Yeah, app. Right, app matched the name of the component. So they say source components. I'm not sure I see the value of a components directory right now. So for multi-part things, oh, and they're actually using JSX for things that get modified by the compiler. That could be another thing we could look into. Okay, so we'll fix this one before we commit it. This was something else. This was also something else. Oh, yeah, and then app. Because I don't necessarily want to mix content changes with name changes. Starts to get a little bit confusing. Now the options for frame rate, well, the resolution is the one where the option sharing is going to matter. Oh, nope, except that broke it. How about we actually test things after we change them? Okay. You're not complaining. All right, so this is open, and that's a compiled file. And you are loading app.js. We're going to touch you a little bit. Bitrate, calculator, and then app. Oh, yeah, this might change. Yeah, script type. So source. From bitrate calculator. So what the heck does public look like now? Well, this is one step. Yeah, so we get rid of this. We get rid of this. So that was app. Oh wait, this is still it's still app.js? Oh, I must have actually rewritten it by not watching my names. Or never written it, maybe. Wait, what? Why? Really? I bumped caps lock. That's why I can't get in here. Excuse me. Can you close, please? What the? Blah, 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 blah. Public, go away. App.js. App.js. Source, app.js. Wait. Vim must have this buffer in as that name. Excuse me, I am trying to bloody rename you. Source, app.js. You can go away. Now it's an actual capital letter. All right, public. Okay, so the page picked that up, and everything still loads okay. Modified. Well, change file naming convention. All right, so now what we see is that if we're doing JSX stuff, we're possibly supposed to be actually renaming these again. All right, so Git will probably be able to figure this out. because I want to be lazy. How about you? Let me just, I want to see this successfully compiled because it doesn't like to do that normally. Successfully compiled 3 files. Now I guess to be really strict about this, we should delete our output. Okay, and they do get compiled to JS, so the package just recognizes that. Git, I think this is add -a, and it recognizes the renames. Change source extension to JSX. All right, so now frame rate, bitrate calculator. Yeah, that's not going to be too big a deal because I don't need to reference the options elsewhere. For options, I may have to do something else. Frame rate. Frame rate options, the calculation. All right, you have no state. Changed frame rate. Do we have to do anything here? Yeah, we got some null checking and stuff. So actually, I'll probably look at my other one for that. Okay, so now it's not state.framerate, it is props.value. That's still fine. So now bitrate control. It's a changed bitrate. Pretty much the same. Props on change, props.onChange. So now bitrate calculator. Has a change frame rate that looks more like this. This is where they're going to get similar enough. Oop. That the sort of arbitrary property thing might look more attractive. Prev state, frame rate. And the frame rate control is going to look a bit more like this. State.framerate and changed frame rate. And then that takes care of all the options. Frame rate. well, we think that's working. Yes, it's misspelled. I only just want to prove that we're actually using the subcomponent. So you are updated to extract that. Bitrate calculator should no longer need frame rate options. Ooh, whoa, that was a bit too much. Although I might, depending on what we do with resolution, I might put it back here and have it pass down the options. Extract frame rate control. So now resolution. This gets a little bit more interesting. Because changed resolution, what do you do with this? You have to, well, no, we were to have it return a resolution value. And the stored resolution value is a value. So then the only bump you have is initializing it. But I think we could actually, we could expose resolution options from there. Now, maybe it would be better to pass it down, because then you could have different things that used it for different resolution sets, but we can start by moving it in there. Resolution control.jsx. You'll have the resolution options. You will not have the bits per pixel calculation. You will not have any internal state. Yeah, we'll want to do some of this stuff. We don't need to do this calculation. It would be a this dot props dot on change res. To there. And let's see, export. You can export class. Ooh, notice that. Oh, is this? All right, I need to read up on ES6 exports again. Module.exports. Export function. Okay, that's a function. Okay, so you can just do this, and I'll worry about const and var and whatever else later. So I was complained about that. So then we go back to bitrate calculator. I guess it was kind of in the middle. Resolution control. You no longer, well, actually, it's resolution control and resolution options. We can initialize something here. Changed bitrate, changed resolution. Should be there, and then this takes over. Look a lot more like this. Res changed resolution. And then resolution control. Ooh. That. Okay. Nope. This dot state. Let's change to. Well, no, it's still a resolution. It's first going to make it value.value. This dot props dot value is undefined. Value undefined on chain. Oh. Well, so that is a problem with bitrate calculator. Okay. Okay, so it's definitely visible here. Our initial state is a resolution with a value. It's .state.res. Oh no, it's this is resolution. And my shorthand going there. Solution control. Okay, so now we're there, and then we've got definitely using that. All right, so bits per pixel is really just an ordinary number thing. I mean, it could get more interesting later, I guess, if we make this reversible. Bitrate calculator. let's see, that's going to have no events. I can handle this formatting. All right, BPP control. Going to have no state. You're going to have no events. This dot props dot value. Yeah, I kind of liked seeing the success updates because it told me it had actually processed and found no problems. Okay, so BPP control, bits per pixel, no on change. That's bitrate control. Right, because it wasn't there. Okay, so that's still doing, and really this probably should be bits per pixel. We're not going to fully write it out. You don't need the A here. Extract bit per pixel control. All right, so now we've done an exercise with, well, we've got things there. So now I want to see if I could do, I want to do sliders for frame rate's probably going to be the easier one. So bitrate control has an example of throwing on additionally a slider. Why is that indent different? I don't know if I'm going to have labels in this one. So max is frame rate options. And min is, oh, actually that's length. This should really be -1. Step 1, value. Now this is actually going to be change slider. Just going to have to do some interpretation. Slider shouldn't have a blank value. So this should be, e.target.value. But then this has, the value has to be reinterpreted. So this has to be a, like a value to index or something. Well, actually, it's just, well, there's no guarantee the value is in there. Okay. It'd be nice if you could put labels on here. You probably have to get it back into a completely custom rendering control for that. All right, so that wasn't too terrible. It actually wasn't too bad at all. And slider to frame rate. Resolution might be more interesting. Resolution control. Resolution options, and the value actually is going to be a resolution. And I think this will actually go pretty... But no, resolution has to do some special processing of its values. This resolution options. So I can't just use... Okay. Because we're talking about resolution values internally. But unchanged, it attempts to yeah. This bit is different. You could maybe handle with an onChange function. And then, yeah, there's the dot value because we're handling this thing internally that is not directly displayable. So maybe there are some React tricks to handle that kind of abstraction, but I don't need to do that yet. Now things would almost line up better if you got all of these in one place, although you've got, well, you probably want to pick a size for your label, pick a size for this, pick a size for this. Like this bitrate box is too big. So these could shrink a bit. And slider to resolution. Okay. Now if I want to turn this into a constraint system, which might be a project in and of itself. We'd have to have probably like a set of radio buttons for which one is the current target, or for which one we're calculating. And then, I think I end up having a different calculation function for each one. So the radio controls the straight up DOM stuff, which will be back in bitrate calculator. I know I've got radio controls in some of... Shit, do I already have hostable open? It's because we're in public. All right, type equals radio. So the way these are interleaved doesn't lend itself to making control out of this. Well, we'll start with the basics. Input type equals radio. Name equals target, maybe? Item ID. Volume equals bitrate. They're going to want non-changed events. I guess we just do read-only for now. And they want that to be a value. All right, any complaints? Don't think so. We don't have anything for what's set yet. Actually, forms, controlled components, text area tag, select tag, file input, how do you handle value? You handled it by controlling the... I guess it would be checked based on the underlying value. And then React will yell at me if it's doing something fancy. However, this should really be in the bitrate control div. or we do some CSS to fix it up. Well, if we do that, we're just going to associate them. So these are all going to end up indented. Resolution control, frame rate control, but pixel control. And then div. So target bit per pixel. Target. Frame rate. Target. Resolution. Resolution. Wait, I doubled this? Yes. And what would none be? Right, and the way this is set up, we have to calculate. I did show the calculator and the target before, or in the other application. All right, so type radio. If you do your own control, do you get built-in support for other props? Is this going to be HTML class? No. Class components. Add attributes. DOM attributes React 16. Different canonical React name. Horns ignores them. They don't actually tell us what it's supposed to be. Oh, class name. Nope, you have to handle all that default stuff yourself. So now every single one of these, because I don't know how else we're going to identify them, short of baking it in. And I guess you might want to put that anywhere within the created DOM tree, so. Alright, so frame rate control. Per pixel control. Resolution control. Bitrate calculator. And then we can go into style. It must only be in source. Right, because I reopened it, and that's probably fine, because we won't open up their other files. Nope, public style. Alright, so bitrate calculator, we have a target attribute, which is going to default to bits per pixel. So then we can that's thing read-only true, because I don't have a change handler yet. This dot state dot target equals bitrate. Equals resolution. Oops. Frame rate. Got the wrong case there. Oh. No. I'm thinking of the old syntax. Oh, well, that worked. And of course, it's going to ignore clicks now. Well, right, it's read-only. So we got target. That might force a recalculation. And we probably have to take we have to specify change target. On change this dot change target. I might be able to do a little function not quite control thing here for the inputs. Oh. Checked equal bit per pixel, checked equal frame rate. Oh, I have to take your change target, which got moved out of an event-based thing. Bitrate, target dot value. Whoa. Oh, so we need to grab before the closure. All right, we can change. Doesn't really do anything yet. But just having the radio buttons in there is something. So one of the things I'm going to try out is, can we I guess you would want it to be this, huh? Return, checkbox, target. This is going to become a calculated field. Value is target. Uh-oh. Did not like the syntax there. So render returns JSX. Oh, you need to close our input tag. All right, everything's happy, we think. So then this becomes no, it's not a checkbox, it's a radio. This dot radio. Okay. Frame rate. Bits per pixel. Yeah, something about that. Extract. radio button to function. Now, one thing that we're going to end up with this. Well, I can try it. Rack's not going to be happy about it. Oh, to make these read-only, I'm going to have to be able to pass a read-only through. Okay, so maybe we'll wait about that. Alright, how hard is this going to be to implement? I think I've got most of the math worked out. How did I do this? Yeah, optimization options. Well, that's just the options. Oh, so details a derived thing I used. Optimize bitrate, optimize resolution, optimize FPS. And then optimize is just a thing that switches off on that. Okay. No, and then we just update that. I guess I could momentarily. Wait, what do we? Right. Change it to only calculate. Right, because this is definitely calculating exactly one thing. To calculate something different in a certain case. Like we're going to start allowing it to change bit per pixel. So we would have a changed. Well, our bit per pixel control is going to have to support that, isn't it? And it's going to have its own little formatting issues. Target a value on change. And then I think I'll use the change property. Oh, but you're not you're not an int. Which I'm assuming you don't need a radix. So then change bitrate, change frame rate. Changed bit per pixel. And we'll worry about what we calculate when we do that. No complaints. BPP control. Ah. Oh. JavaScript parse float. Parse float. So we need to know what this is. Well, what we really need is how are you getting the 2 fixed? And that's the only, well, the only instance of it without executing that code. Can we turn this into wait, did you actually have an error here and I didn't notice because you always look the same? Ah, you did have an error here. Oh, these might not be allowed in JSX. No. Oh, you don't allow semicolons, huh? And then the loopback killed the actual value. Number object. Okay, so we now have an object. I don't think I want an object. It's an input. Nope. Yeah. Wrong window. .log e dot target dot value type of e dot target dot value, which I think is a string, and then bpp and that closed my page. I can probably get rid of some junk here. Okay, so one is a string, one is a number. What? change bitrate. Change bits per frame rate. So the default value for any value seems to be the control itself. This dot props dot value dot toFix3. Right, so that's going to get. Whoa. Right, because you have to format it. So the problem with this is that if we turn it to a 0, then the user is going to delete everything and suddenly have an extra 0. That was. Why is it saying valid values? Oh, wait. Why can't I type points? Oh, and then this formats it back to 3. I want to truncate it to at most 3. Then again, this might have been why I had 2 fields for the other one. The one you could edit, and the one that was formatted. toFixed without padding. toFixed for parse float. Also convert it to a string. So you turn it back into a number. Well, or just replace the trailing zeros. Or you turn it back into a number and then back into a string. And React allows numbers generally. I just had to format this one. Okay, yep, and then back into a string. Right, I didn't actually... No, we have to go... This turns it into a string. What was it? Parse float. So this gets us back to... We want to truncate down to 3. And then we go back to here. Yeah, other way. And then React should be fine with getting a number here. And I can type, I can't type. Why can't I type points? Oh, because we're converting it to a floating point value. It sort of works with numbers. You don't have to have any intermediate forms, which are illegal values of the type. So so this controls internal value, its internal state. This dot state equals string value is this dot props dot value to fix 3. The control displays this dot state dot string value, and then when we change, and probably we should do this. Do we need to set on change for that, or do we just not set anything for that? That might be okay. We also have to do this dot set state. Let's see if it's nan. We basically don't set the state. If it is... Well, the set state is always going to be the control state. Actually, you know what? We're always going to do that. Just synchronize them. If it's blank, we bail out early. If it converts to a float, then we send that up. Does the constructor get recalled if props change? Well, that's kind of... And this doesn't guarantee that our upper level control is getting the right sequence here. Change bits per pixel. Okay, it's illegal, so we're still getting that. And then we get 0.1. Bitrate control, no, bit per pixel control. Console, console, console. Oh, and then all this stuff calculates. Oh, yeah, it is not updating. How do I react to prop changes? State and life cycle. It's probably somewhere in here. Dating state on props change. Make values on the fly. Component will receive props depreciated. Get derived state from props. Right before calling the render method. Or the state depends on changes in props over time. Here, how about React input formatted floating point? Is there a better solution to this? Number input examples. Here's a pre-built component. This is a component. This is a component. They're all components. Doesn't tell me how to do it. And this is expected to be linked from somewhere else. Values object, formatted value, value, float value. So I kind of treat this like resolution, or it's actually a compound object. Oh, value equals display text. Well, it's just text. Maintaining change on value on state. Formatted value, set state. This sounds really complicated. Default props. Number format. Oh, on key down, mouse up, all the stuff. Okay, so format it. State is a value and remove formatting. But they're doing all the buttons. Does this mean that this old update value if required? Prev props not equal to props. Last value with new format. Well, you can have formatting changes. I'm more interested in if the value changes. Yeah, we could get into a kind of a loop here. Get derived state from props. Turn an object to update the state. This dot props. Okay, so that updates. But then it re-renders and redoes that. I don't have a prev props here. Now I do have a state. So I could store the previous value here and only update the string value if that is different. No, props.value. Yeah, props.value not equals state.prevalue. And then we need prevalue equals is props dot. value. You have returned undefined. Okay, so those update. Right, when we get to the point where we cause a value change, it loops back on itself. So in Elm, I solved this. Well, I had better control of when my state changed. But I did have to keep the separate field. The separate string field can be in the control, I think. But it has to be able to receive updates from the outside, but it doesn't really know whether an update it's getting is an echo back or whether it's an actual update. Well, in the Elm one, I treated the string sort of as baseline and explicitly cleared the string value when I wanted to change things. And I'd like reset the field. And then you would just always derive the value we used from the string value. Well, I might have to boot that problem until tomorrow. Because that is a nasty little problem. Well, actually, not tomorrow. It'll be Wednesday. Oh, that's right. And I set it to... type text. Yeah, that's a problem for tomorrow. I just need to eat lunch today, start fresh Wednesday. Done with you. That's it for now. I want that off for next time. Thanks for watching. Do I have anything to recommend? That's the schedule. I'm starting to take Tuesdays and Thursdays off. Well, things have been kind of slow so far, so we'll see. Then again, I probably have other things I should be doing. All right, well, what are you doing on here? Doing back-end stuff. But still back-end. All right, well, makings of a hero is going to game dev again. Managing object pools. That sounds hairy. Look for someplace cool to hang out. That's someplace cool to hang out. Thanks for hanging out with me. Goodbye and until next time.